This is going to be a quick review of using the element tester here, and this is for building a template. So we want to know that our template's going to work before we actually go through the process of saving it as a cell. And with the tool open, you got this preview and you got this move mode. Essentially, if you want to preview it, it'll just kind of give you a sense of how it will behave. And then if you want to move it to give it a better position, you can always move it. That's the idea behind that. So if I want to move this piece, you can move it, and you can actually see it physically moves the element for us. Where the preview just gives us a preview, and if we select another item, you can see the preview basically disappears and updates over here. Okay, so we could see that individually selecting one of these, this is going to be kind of the best fit within the region here. So this shape has the ability to slip side to side. And if I do the same thing down here, you can see it will drift up. The idea is to get an overall shape of our curb or barrier and use a combination of these shapes and lines. So individually they don't behave very well. This is actually kind of rising a little bit. For the most part, it seems to be the most standout-ish feature within this region, because we have flat surfaces over here, flat on this side, and a vertical face. So collectively I can take these things and use them. Just these two alone will kind of lock in this feature. Okay, so if I use 3, we actually get a more of a subtle shift here. So this kind of gives you an idea of how this thing's behaving. Now, I'm focused on getting this to lock in horizontally as best as possible, because I can ultimately incorporate template points that are drapable. So if I wanted to drape like the flow line, I can always adjust it vertically later on once the template horizontally places itself. If you want to make this even stronger, you can go through and provide outlines to your blocks here, and this will be kind of like a backbone. You can always push one of these shapes to have a higher priority. Okay, so it's higher priority there, and let's see how these behave together. Still getting really good results. We just don't want this thing jumping around. And obviously this isn't the exact template you have to build. There's many ways to do this. So if I actually started out with a, let me update the tool so we don't see the preview. If I started out with a shape like this, we can always do move parallel. And we'll make a copy on these. But essentially I can make my own outline with these two. So insert vertice. Okay, I do want to make sure this is a shape, because right now there's lines. Alright, so there's our shape. I gave it a little bit of thickness by accident. We dropped that down. Alright, so let's see how this one behaves. Okay, rises up just a little bit, moves a little bit more than my last template, but still does the job and keeps it horizontally locked in. Alright, so let's take a look at another example. Alright, so here's a barrier example, and in this one, it's the same concept. If we select one of these shapes, you can see that it's going to be allowed to slip in that direction. But collectively, if we take multiple shapes or lines and test, you're basically constraining it even further. So that's why we have shapes on top, shapes on the side, and on the angles. To give you a sense of the search area here, basically we can think of the template as having like an area, and then we're basically just scaling that up for the actual search area when you do the preview. All right, thanks for joining.